Shreya. Hello and welcome to another video conversations on Awaz-e-Haqiqat, which translates to the voice of truth. I'm your host, Chris Malika, and depending on whichever part of the world you're watching us today or tonight, as you can see on the screen, I'm joined by two very vivacious, inspiring, heartwarming individuals. One has joined me all the way from London, Shreya, as you can see. We were having a chat. It's 8:30 a.m. in the morning for her, so bright and early in the morning. And Aleena is joining me all the way, not all the way. She's back home, so she's joining me from India. Sorry, guys, it's like at the end of a very long day, so I'm just all over the place. But thank you so much, guys, for joining. Today, we will be talking about their venture, which is all about sustainable fashion. But also, I want to talk to them about their mental health, which is kind of the need of the hour. We need to talk about these things. So we will get in the conversation. But before I do that, I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which I'm meeting you guys from. I am on the land of the Queen Nation. And I would also like to extend my respect to the elders, past, present, and emerging. On that note, a bit about these two vivacious young women. Aleena and Shreya are two corporate professionals who turned their shared passion for Indian fashion into a business. Over a casual coffee catch-up, their conversation about beauty, richness, and cost of Indian outfits sparked a transformative idea to change the way people buy and wear Indian clothing. This marked the birth of Aleya, Aleena plus Shreya, a business dedicated to promoting sustainable fashion through the rental and resale of Indian outfits. Despite their full-time corporate careers, Aleena and Shreya's love for creativity and Indian culture propelled them to officially establish Aleya 3 years ago. Aleena is based in Australia, while Shreya is currently residing in London. In addition to Aleya, Aleena runs her own Instagram page, Rani Vibes, where she shares a passion for fashion, travel, and mental well-being. And Shreya is also a strong advocate for mental well-being, emphasizing the importance of self-love, compassion, and respect. On that note, thank you so much, ladies, for joining me. How are you doing?
Good. Yeah. Not bad right now.
I can sense that, the sinusoidal curve of energy. Aleena, on Friday evening, that mood is like, yeah, I'm kind of trying to wind down and share. Yes, Friday morning, so I could sense that. All right. Firstly, what you guys are doing is really inspiring. So thank you for speaking up on issues that are really important. On that note, I wanted to start off with something very simple. What are some of the ways that you found out in your course of the journey by which we can make fashion more sustainable?
Shreya?
I think on our journey, one of the key things, I think even through our business, making sustainability has always been about reusing or repurposing what we already have. I think sending that message out to the community.
Yes.
And I think that's part of what we wanted to do. I think at the core of the problem that we have, even as, two Indian women who probably have an expansive wardrobe of Indian fashion that sometimes only gets worn once and then doesn't again. And so I think that was where we started, and that was where our conversation started and why Aleya was born. And at the heart of what we do, I think. Aleena?
Yeah, agreed. I think it's funny. I still remember when we were meeting and we were just having a very general sort of conversation about, I would love to have an Indian business or just a business of some sorts. And we were like, you know what? Why don't we just start something that's for a good cause? I think we also see a lot more news and things about how fast fashion and all these different things that we have going around is contributing to environmental waste. And if any of you have watched Buy Now, it's a documentary that's on Netflix at the moment. I think that just re-emphasizes the importance of moving towards sustainable fashion. I think in the Western world, it's like quite developing, but I think there's a long way to catch up for Indian wear.
I also watched another docu. It says minimalism, less is now. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I haven't seen it, but I saw
It blew my mind. Like that guy from a full-on hoarding life came onto a minimalist, and these guys have their own podcast, right? So we can lead a minimalistic lifestyle. It's just, I think our mind goes into that FOMO mode. I have that thing as well. Oh my God, the sari I'm wearing. What if someone recognizes it the next event and tells me, I saw you wearing this sari some other time. I know I have to get rid of that habit, but amazing. We have to think of the planet. On that note of planet, the reason I brought up minimalism is I wanted to know from you ladies, is in your opinions, do you really think sustainable fashion can intersect with the concept of minimalism at some point in their own ways? Aleena, I'll start with you this time. That's okay.
I think from our perspective, at least with what we can do with our business at the moment, we're looking at minimalism from the point of how can we utilize rental wear and pre-loved outfits as an opportunity to declutter your existing wardrobe. I feel like Indian wear takes up so much space, and you don't go wear Indian outfits every other day. It's something that you wear occasionally, and there's no need for it to occupy an entire wardrobe space. And again, decluttering, I think, is one of the first steps of minimalism, like trying to get rid of a lot of the things that you don't really use. So I think we try to embrace that as much as we can through the value propositions we have in our business.
Absolutely. Thank you, Aleena. Shreya?
Yeah, and I think the other thing I would add to it is repurposing what you have. So I think some of the things that we do with our outfits as well is mix and matching. So I think some of the collections that we have is like more Indo-Western wear, or sometimes often we'll have clients, and Indian wear can be quite inflexible at times, fitting different body sizes and all of that stuff. So I think some of the things that we've also been able to do with our clients is, well, what do you currently already have? Like, do you have a crop top that you can mix and match with a lehenga skirt that we may already have?
Yeah.
I think that's also another way that you can minimalize, and even, giving that idea to people who already have stuff at home. And it's like, do you style? Like, I know Aleena does a lot of stuff through Rani Vibes, where she mix and matches a lot of different things to kind of, get people to think about fashion in a different way. It doesn't have to be the set outfit that you bought and has to be worn that way.
Amazing. On that note, I have a question that I have been meaning to ask you guys. We see a lot of designer brands these days, and the way they advertise things, all of us, we are like, I want to have that lehenga, I want to have that sari. Club it with the big fat South Asian weddings, right? You have destination weddings, you have themed ways weddings, like you have one costume for haldi and whatnot and whatnot. Now, if you club all of it together, for example, I've gotten this very expensive bridal couture lehenga, whatever, however they pronounce it. How can you sell sustainable fashion to me where I'm already buying different costumes for 7 days of my wedding? How do you approach those clients, or how can you raise more awareness to a clientele which is already running after 7 different costumes? Shreya, if that's okay, I'll start with you.
Yeah. I think one of the ways that we're thinking about, I guess, targeting those clients is through our pre-loved proposition. And whilst this is not something that our business does actively at the moment, but is perhaps linking, different people who may be interested in, say you've got a 7-day wedding, you've got your 7 outfits that you bought designer, right? Maybe there is someone who is okay with maybe repurposing the outfit that you already had, and it's maybe linking those two people together and going, hey, can you rewear some of that stuff? Because you're never going to wear wedding outfits again, right? Hardly, right? So I think, and then our pre-love proposition in our business allows for, maybe reaching out to those clients. So those clients actually reach out to us and say, hey, I've got this really expensive lehenga, or I've got this sitting in my wardrobe. What can we do? And then I guess what we're trying to do is then market that out to our other clients and say, is anyone interested in, buying something that's designer, or maybe fraction of the price that you pay in the market?
Aleena, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think another way could also be, as a bride, I think when you're an Indian bride and you are so influenced by social media and the need for designer lehengas to make you feel beautiful and things like that. I've spoken about this quite a few times in Rani Vibes, actually. I think it's important to, at least we try to reinforce the fact that it's okay if you're not buying designer wear. It's okay. You still are beautiful. No matter what you wear, you're going to be the bride and you're going to look amazing. And I think sort of like breaking that mental barrier is so important, and allowing everyone to feel confident in whatever they choose. And whether that be through a pre-loved designer wear, like there shouldn't be a stereotype attached to that. It's, at the end of the day, it's an outfit. It looks great on you. So I think like there's so many different ways we can go about breaking that stereotype, plus encouraging not only sustainable way of fashion in that sense, but also you also save a lot of money. Like it's very expensive, right? So yeah, I think there's a lot of ways we can do that, and I think as Aleya, we're trying as much as we can through our different propositions and different reels that we create to sort of spread that word. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you. But Aleena, you raised a very important point of social media, right? Nowadays, we are surrounded by social media. We are judged, misjudged, whatever you want to term it, right? Now, when you talk about unhealthy fashion standards, for one is the skin complexion, the perfect body shape, and all of that, right? We are mature people, or we are wise people, if I can use that word, that we know what trend can I follow and what trend I should not be following. But for the next generation, the younger generation, right? What role does social media play in promoting these unhealthy fashion standards? And how can we take a check on them? Shreya.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that Aleena and I speak about is that what social media has really done is create this sense of it's created a more fast-paced environment. So, back in 20 years ago, a trend would last for maybe a couple of years or at least a couple of months. Whereas now what we're seeing with social media is as soon as a celebrity is spotted or an influencer is spotted wearing something, all of a sudden it's a trend. And then the next day it's not. Today flare pants are in, tomorrow it's not a thing, right? And I think it is hard. It's hard for young people to kind of keep up. And I think especially teenagers or, people in their young 20s who have this, societal pressure to be a certain way, to fit into certain peer groups and be presented in a certain way. I think our job, or the role that we can play essentially is encouraging them to go through platforms like renting or at least, looking at what's already out there and using that more sustainability to keep up, right? Because with the way the economy is going, it's not sustainable for young kids. And what Leena said, it's about that mental awareness. It's making them aware that whilst that trend is there, it's fine. It's okay if you want to be on trend. How about you try it in a different way, though? How about you don't spend your money on fast fashion, but maybe look at alternative ways that you can still be looking your best in however you want to look, but do it in a more sustainable way. So I think it's the constant advocacy for that.
Leena, your thoughts on it?
I think Shreya's pretty much covered it all, but I think the only thing I would add is as we see more influencers and a lot more people on social media trying to share their life, I think it's important to be conscious on following people who are authentic, and you doesn't make you feel as though you are constantly on this chase of, oh, now that that person is now wearing something, I need to start chasing that, otherwise I'm not seen as good enough. I think yeah, there's a lot of unhealthy things when it comes to social media and trends and things like that, but authenticity and trying to come back to how can I be my most authentic self and do things that make me feel good and wear things that make me feel good is a good sort of thing to keep reinforcing. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The only other thing I would add is I think another thing, not just our business, and I think for other businesses as well, is collaborating with people who can, collaborating with influencers or other people who are able to also spread that message. Because I think the more people that talk about it, the more people that show it off. And so I think that's something that we've actively tried to do as well, is get in touch with more influencers, try collaborating with them to go, hey, spread that message. If people see you wear it, if people see you promote sustainable fashion, then more people follow you who jump on board.
Absolutely. I'm
Absolutely.
looking at this ramp walk by a very famous fashion designer brand. And if you look at all the models, they're like skin thin, right? They're like sticks. And when I was doing a bit of research, they have a lot of diet control. They don't eat certain things for months. And they look like skeletons. And I wonder when young girls watch these people walk the ramp, what is the impression that's boiling down? That I have to look like that. I have to look like that in a certain way. But so agreed to both of you saying that we need to be spreading awareness. We need to be conversing more. We need to be collaborating. One important aspect which I realize also is relevant to the fashion industry and also to yourselves as individuals is our mental health. And since both of you are active advocates about it, right? In the fashion industry, how often do you think is mental health openly and actively discussed and addressed? Aleena, I'll start with you.
I think it's definitely gotten better over the last, I would say, 4 to 5 years. The term they use is this generation being more woke, because they're just more aware. People are more opinionated. They're not afraid to say what they have to say. So those are all great things. But yeah, the fashion industry definitely, like you were saying about the whole skinny models and things like that, it's gotten better with the Kim Kardashians, with the what's or nots. Like it's definitely trending better, but there's still so much work we could still be doing. And I think, again, with the point of influencers, especially if associated with a business or promoting business, being aware of what kind of image are they putting out there, because their audience could be like, I don't know, 16-year-old. They're like very young, very, very young kids. And having that constantly fed into your head from a very young age can make you feel, I can't even imagine like how much they must be battling things through their head, just not feeling enough, or feeling like they don't meet the criteria or the image that all their influencers that they look up to are. But yeah, I think there's still a long way to go, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Shreya, your thoughts?
No, I agree. I think that there is a long way to go. And I think coming back to our point, if you own a business in any sort of fashion industry or you're doing anything related to fashion, I think there's a huge responsibility that you carry to make sure that you're representing a brand that is wholesome and caters for every body type, every personality type, every race, religion, whatever it is. But it's representative of what society is.
Yes.
And I think Aleya, we try to do that as much as we possibly can, because our photo shoots are all done with models that we contact, everyday people, because that's what the brand is meant to represent. It's meant to be an everyday person. It's not meant to be for a specific person or a specific, type of body, or representing a specific sort of skin color or anything like that. And I think we could be doing so much more work, and anyone out there who is dealing with anything to do with fashion, even in the slightest form, representation is something that you need to keep top of mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Following from mental health, guys, you guys are following a business, you have your own 9 to 5 jobs, you have so much going on in our lives. We are living in very, very difficult times where you open the newspaper in whatever form. These are some very disturbing news items, right? The question I want to ask to both of you is, on a difficult day, how do you individually take care of your mental health? Shreya?
I try to, so I'm quite open. I go to therapy. I'm quite open about that, and I think therapy is very important. So I talk about that with anyone that will listen to me. So on a weekly basis, I've got my therapy going. I'm trying to get back into exercise. So I've just, signed up to kickboxing, and that's been quite stress relieving for me. And I talk a lot to people around me. So, I'm blessed to live with really two wonderful roommates, and I've just moved over countries a couple of months ago, so that was a difficult change, not having my close friends and family. But I think something that I always talk about is having open communication. And I'm someone who's just open, and I vent a lot. So between talking, exercising, and going to therapy, I think that's how I try to look after my mental health.
Thank you, and thank you for saying out loud. Therapy is important, and it is okay to have therapy if you need it. Aleena, what about you? How do you take care of your mental health?
So Shreya and I actually share a lot of tips and tricks with each other when it comes to mental health. I feel like that's one of the strongest bonds we have in our friendship. But one of the things that I try to be more consistent with is meditating in the morning. It's usually just like 10 to 15 minutes tops. On a good day, it's 15, but most of the time it's 10. Just grounding myself, trying to like listen to affirmations or just listen to any sort of music that just calms my nerves, especially if I have a very intense day ahead. It just allows me to set things up for the day. And then say the day has gone ahead and everything has got turned into chaos and it's just all over the place. For me, a good walk just outside with my headphones on and music on always just like helps. I just feel like that's my way of just letting off. I wish I was someone who could actually talk more and vent more, but I'm trying to be better at it. I feel like I hold in a lot of things and don't want to share out too much. But that's something that I'm actively working on, and I know that it'll be super helpful, especially when there's a lot of chaotic things happening in your life and it just boils up. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. These are very important points about mental health. And the last question before I kind of let you ladies go is, what would be your message to our listeners, and where can we find Aleya on social media? Who wants to go ahead?
Message for listeners. Okay, let's all try to normalize renting and buying pre-loved, because honestly, it's a win-win situation. There is nothing lose about that. You're trying to save yourself money. You're being more minimalistic in the way that you buy things.
Yes.
You're also helping the environment at the end of it all. So it's all like positive things. So let's try as a community, even if that means that in Australia, all Australians and all Indian Australians in Australia start this movement of being super sustainable through buying pre-loved and rental, then that's a great step forward, right? But yeah, that's what I would say.
Thank you. Shreya?
I'm gonna be really cheesy and use our slogan, and that's gonna be you rent, you re-love, and you reimagine. But also, I will add that to anyone listening who has ever thought about sustainability or wanting to do something even a little bit different to, what they do right now, is that another cliche, be the change that you want to see. So it only starts with you. And if you might just be the one person in the party who's wearing a rented outfit, but if you can be loud and proud about it, just look at the change that will happen around you. So just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do it.
And I add, it is not a cliche, it is the need of the hour. We need to start from home.
Yeah.
And the last thing, ladies, where can I find Aleya on social media? If anyone were to look you guys up, where can we find you?
We are pretty much everywhere. We are on TikTok, we are on Instagram, we're on Facebook. But on Instagram, we are aleya.as. Even on Facebook, we're aleya.as. I think on TikTok as well, actually. Yeah, I think it's aleya.as is what you need to type in, and you will find us.
Amazing. All right. On that note, it was wonderful talking to both of you at such very literally opposite time zones. For our listeners and viewers, if you've watched us for the first time, I really hope you can take a lot of inspiration from these two young ladies out here. What they're trying to do is phenomenal. They're trying to raise awareness about sustainable fashion, which is the need of the hour. If you haven't, please watch the documentary called Buy Now or Minimalism. It will open your eyes as to how we hoard and what are we buying and how does it lead to things in the long run. And if you watched us for the first time, I hope you like the content that we have just given out to you. You have something to take away. And if you've got any thoughts or feedback, please write to me at awaz-e-haqiqat@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me or the content on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. On that note, Shreya and Aleena, thank you so much for joining me on this very heartwarming, friendly, open, and awareness-raising conversation. I wish you guys all the very best with the venture, and I hope we can keep in touch with more sustainable conversations as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity for talking to you.